As a boxer?
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. And listen, what Jake Paul has accomplished is he's fighting old guys.
Yes.
He's fighting, all he fights are old guys and whatever. But listen, say what you want, he wins. And he makes money. So he's doing his thing, you know.
Champions of the past, we have world champions of the present. Marissa Shields in the building.
Jake Paul, it's clear to me you are desperate for a reality check. You know what? If I made my money impressing 4-year-olds on YouTube and managed to somehow become a multimillionaire from it, I'd probably live in a dream world too. But let me explain something to you about combat sports. There are a whole bunch of men out here who will never be as famous as you, will never make the money you've made, who would kick the living fuck out of you. This is the hardest sport in the world, and people dedicate their lives to this, and most of them never get a payday. It never pays off for the majority of fighters, who would fuck you up.
As a boxer, yeah, there's no doubt about it, and listen, what Jake Paul has accomplished is he's fighting old guys. Yes, he's fighting, all he fights are old guys and whatever, but listen, say what you want, he wins, and he makes money, so he's doing his thing, you know. Only of the we have Kyans of the in build. Joe Ran just exposed Jake Paul, the man who built an empire on cringeworthy pranks and somehow stumbled into boxing after new complaints from day one. Jake has been shouting into the void, begging to fight anyone who will give him a scrap of attention. He called Conor McGregor out like owed him money, and then it was Sean Strickland, and when those didn't pan out the way he wanted, Jake discovered the art of cherry-picking fights. Jake Paul, it's clear to me you are desperate for a reality check. You know what? If I made my money impressing 4-year-olds on YouTube, I managed to somehow become a multimillionaire from it, I'd probably live in a dream world too. But let me explain something to you about combat sports. There are a whole bunch of men out here who will never be as famous as you, will never make the money you've made, who would kick the living out of you. This is the hardest sport in the world, and people dedicate their lives to this, and most of them never get a payday. It never pays off for the majority of fighters, who would you up. But now Jake's got brand new complaints, because why deal with legitimate challenges when whining is so much easier? This time it's all about his fight with Mike, which apparently wasn't the cakewalk he expected, and let's not forget his dramatic reaction to Andrew Tate's fight offer, which Jake handled with all the maturity of a spoiled teenager being told to clean his room. I'm one of the lucky ones. I made a little bit of money. I don't have 50 million to bet with you, but I do have 3 million to bet with you, so this is your offer. $3 million. You put 3, I put 3. Winner takes all. I'm 5 years out the ring. I'm a kickboxer. Joe Rogan left everyone questioning whether the self-proclaimed boxing prodigy is more interested in boxing or in avoiding actual competition. This time the controversy surrounds Jake's refusal to fight Andrew Tate despite Tate's public challenge and a $3 million bet on the line. It's a move that not only raised eyebrows but also sent social media into a frenzy. If they buy it, but let's say he would call you to fight, would you take it? Yeah, I mean, Jake and I actually talk. He's an alright guy. There was a time we were talking about fighting each other, and I think if this arrest didn't happen it probably would have come to fruition. We'll see what happens in the future. Jake Paul, known for his larger-than-life persona and relentless self-promotion, has built a career out of cherry-picking opponents, from retired MMA fighters with zero boxing experience to celebrities with no business in the ring. His matchups have always followed a familiar script. Each fight is calculated to guarantee 2 things: pay-per-view sales and a high chance of victory. So when Andrew Tate, a former kickboxing world champion and one of the most polarizing figures on the internet, challenged him to a fight, Jake's response, or rather the lack of it, spoke volumes. If you want to fight and you want to send a contract, send one to me. I will take a few weeks break from living my retired life to kick the living out of a goofy entitled __. Like you, Tate's challenge wasn't subtle. He didn't just call Jay out, he taunted him with a substantial monetary bet and an open-ended offer to fight anytime, anywhere. The offer was bold, calculated, and entirely in line with Tate's unapologetically brash persona, but instead of rising to the occasion, Jake turned his back on the opportunity, opting to avoid the ring altogether. Rogan, never want to mince words, highlighted the glaringly obvious: Jake only fights when he can control the odds, and a bout with Andrew Tate doesn't come with a script, music, Come on. Jake's pivot away from Tate came in the form of a proposed fight with none other than Mike Tyson. At first glance the matchup might seem like a boxing fan's dream, but a closer look reveals a calculated move designed to minimize risk. Tyson, a boxing legend, is also 57 years old and well past his prime. While Tyson's name alone guarantees ticket sales, the fight offers none of the unpredictability or genuine challenge that facing Andrew Tate would. Rogan didn't hold back in dissecting this strategy, pointing out how Jake's career has become a masterclass in avoiding credible threats. Yeah, he'll never do that though. He knows way. 1, he's under contract, and 2, he's not his own boss, and 2, he won't do it. He knows better. He might say, and it's funny to say, like, yo, Conor McGregor is scared of Jake Paul will never box him. What makes this situation even more damning is how Jake has handled his critics. Instead of addressing the accusations he's remained conspicuously silent on the matter. Rogan, however, was more than willing to speak for him, noting how Jake has repeatedly dodged young competitive fighters in favor of safer, more marketable options. The decision to fight Tyson, a retired heavyweight, instead of Tate, a fighter still in peak physical condition, epitomized Jake's approach to his so-called boxing career. Somebody like me, he mentioned me before, and there'll be people out there saying, oh, Carl Fr talking about himself, he's after a payday. Listen, I'm not after a payday, I'm doing all right, there's no problems with my finances. Tate, for his part, didn't let Jake's rejection go unnoticed. He doubled down on his challenge, calling out Jake's fear and exposing the cracks in his tough guy facade. For someone who thrives on bravado and dominance, Jake's hesitance to face Tate reveals a vulnerability that even his most loyal fans can't ignore. The backlash from social media has been swift and brutal, with fans and critics alike labeling Jake a coward for ducking what could have been a career-defining fight. Rogan's commentary wasn't limited to Jake's avoidance tactics. He also criticized the broader pattern of Jake's career, describing it as a series of mismatched fights designed to pad his record rather than test his skills. Whether it's retired athletes or inexperienced fighters, Jake's opponent have all shared one thing in common: they were never a real threat. Rogan's blunt assessment cut through the noise, exposing Jake's strategy is nothing more than a thinly veiled attempt to maintain his marketability without risking his reputation. And listen, what Jake Paul has accomplished is he's fighting old guys. Yes, he's fighting all he fights are old guys and whatever, but listen, say what you want, he wins and he makes money, so he's doing his thing. The most glaring issue in all this is Jake's unwilling to engage with fighters who could actually challenge him. Fighting Andrew Tate would have been an opportunity to silence his critics and prove he's more than just a YouTuber playing boxer. Instead, his avoidance has only added fuel to the fire, reinforcing the narrative that Jake Paul is more interested in showmanship than true competition. Rogan's analysis left no room for doubt. Jake's decision to dodge Tate was about control, not courage. Even Jake's supporters are beginning to question his motives. The fight with Mike Tyson might draw headlines, but it does little to advance Jake's credibility as a fighter. For someone who claims to be revolutionizing the sport of boxing, Jake's actions suggest he's more interested in preserving his image than earning respect in the ring. Rogan's critique resonated with fans who are tired of the spectacle and hungry for genuine competition. Andrew Tate, on the other hand, has emerged as a wild card in this saga. His relentless pursuit of a fight with Jake has not only kept the story alive but also highlighted the stark contrast between the two fighters. While Jake relies on controlled environments and calculated risks, Tate thrives on unpredictability and raw aggression. It's a dynamic that underscores why Jake is so hesitant to accept the challenge. Fighting Tate wouldn't just be risky, it would be a direct threat to the carefully crafted persona Jake has built. Rogan's commentary didn't just expose Jake's strategy, it also raised broader questions about the state of boxing as a sport. In an era where hype often trumps substance, Jake Paul has become the poster child for style over substance. Rogan's critique serves as a reminder that true fighters don't shy away from challenges, they embrace them, and in this case Jake's reluctance to fight Tate speaks louder than any press release or social media post ever could. That's delusion, I'm sorry. Look, Andrew fighter legitimate badass, __. Strong mentality. I'm sorry. Tristan Tay is a weak link. I say he got a bad shoulder. He shaped like a gingerbread man. I don't want no beef, but that's the illusion. PFO will set this up. Uho MMA tag TE 10 million for everybody. You might have a fight on your hand. The fallout from this saga has left Jake's reputation in tatters. His refusal to fight Andrew Tate, combined with his decision to face a retired Mike Tyson, has cemented the perception that he's more interested in playing the role of a fighter than actually being one. Rogan's insights have only amplified this sentiment, leaving fans and critics alike questioning whether Jake Paul will ever step up and prove himself in a fight that isn't scripted from the start. For now, it seems the only thing Jake is fighting for is the illusion of being a legitimate contender. Jake Paul's decision to dodge Andrew Tate's challenge didn't just bruise his reputation, it obliterated it. For years Jake has marketed himself as a fearless warrior in the ring, but this fiasco peeled back the facade, exposing a businessman who prioritizes paychecks over proving his worth. Fans aren't buying it anymore. The image